Hello, students. This is Faisal here, and today is midterm day, and I just wanted to talk about those first. So, midterms were emailed to your TDSB student account this morning. I scheduled them to go out at 6 a.m., so check them out, right? You should have them in your student account. I sent them all out as attachments. Took a while to do it, I'll be honest, but hopefully you've all got them, and let me know if there are any problems. So first of all, let's look at what the midterms look like. So I sent you guys a PDF, and it's gonna have something that looks like this thing in it, right? The name of the student was removed from here, but this is what the thing looks like. So it has a list of all the assignments, right? The two first marks are the reflection or paragraph assignment. The next four entries are your short story questions, right? Each out of 5. You'll notice that it only gives the mark in a percentage, but whatever it is, right? So for instance, this person got 4.5 out of 5 for that, right? That's why it's a 90, right? This column here, right, mark percent, are your marks, right, for each of the things. Oh, and by the way, this one at the top right is whatever your midterm mark is, right? So yours will be at the top right here, and these are your individual marks, which are percentages, right? So it's not going to say out of 10, it'll just give you the percentage grade that you got. These other numbers, well, you don't have to worry about them too much, but basically, the course is divided into strands. There's the reading side, there's the media strand, there's the writing strand, and there's the oral strand. Right now, the paragraphs of the week, right, that first assignment, are worth quite a bit, right? And the reason for that is that we haven't done the essay yet. So when we do the essay, the paragraphs of the week are going to be worth a lot less, right? So that's sort of going to supersede that grade. So chances are, if your grade isn't where you want it to be, it might be because you didn't do too well on the paragraphs of the week. So your opportunity to go up is going to be with the essay that I have assigned. Okay, so that's what's going on with the marks themselves. And then there's some graphs there if you're interested in that, right? The dotted line is the class average, and then the black line is where you guys are. So, for some of the assignments, you might be over the class average. For some, you might be under, but that's the way it works. You'll notice the oral communication mark is in there. I posted all of your oral communication marks on the website yesterday, so you should already have those. So that's what your midterm mark looks like, right? So again, don't class average percent is what the class average was for each of these assignments, right? So what everyone did together. And this plus or minus class average thing is just telling you if you are over the class average or if you are under. Again, the thing that's important, these are your individual marks for each of the assignments, and this thing up here is your that's your midterm mark. All right, so that's the way it works. So let's go through some of the most frequently asked questions for midterms before we move on here. First question, why is my mark so low? Right, I always get that question. People ask me, look, go look at the comments I've left you on your work, right? Look at what I said about your paragraphs, look at what I said about your short answers, right? The midterm is calculated based on the marks I've given you in the class so far, so it shouldn't be a huge surprise, right? If you've been getting B's for the whole quad, then of course you're going to get B on the midterm. If you've gotten A's, then you're going to get an A, right? So it's based on that. That's why, right? So please don't think it's something personal, or it's because, oh, he gave me a low mark because he hates me, or even he gave me a high mark because he likes me. Neither of those are the case. I just give marks based on what you're doing in class. That's sort of my job. So, second thing, the marks on my paper are calculated wrong. So, first of all, no, they aren't. Their marks are assigned a weight value. Like right now, again, the paragraphs are worth a lot more than they will be in the long run, right? So please, if your plan is, I'm going to get out my calculator and I'm going to add everything together and then divide in order to find the average, that is not the case. right? Now, if you see a number that is wrong, tell me about that, right? So, for instance, if you got, 5 out of 5 on the czar question, but you look in the thing and I accidentally put 2 out of 5, I don't think I did that, but if you see something like that, let me know and I will fix it. Third question, how do you raise your mark? So the way to do that is you're going to do better on the assignments going forward than you have been doing. Look at the comments, figure out what you've been doing wrong, figure out things like commas and capitals and all of that stuff. Get it under control, and you will do better. I won't just raise your mark just because, and I'm going to say now before anyone asks, no, you cannot redo assignments, right? If I were to let you guys just start to redo your paragraphs, redo your short answers, or redo whatever, then look, I'm going to be marking your stuff forever until you get a 90, right? So I'm not going to open that door. You cannot redo assignments. Last question, why did I get 0 on one of my assignments? So the answer to that is you didn't hand it in before 6 p.m. on Thursday. I gave everyone 6 hours, right? I said 12 p.m., but I was actually accepting things right until 6. So if you didn't give me something before 6, that was the deadline. I had to give my midterms in. So, that had to be done. So I'm sorry, but you have missed that opportunity, so it's not included in your midterm. If there's a special circumstance that you want me to be informed of, you should let me know as soon as you can. Hello, cat. Make sure the cat gets in there. So, that is what's going on with that. Oops. I'm going to be honest, guys. Right now, I'm pretty tired, so I am not going to make a very, very long video today. I will start talking about everything I need to talk about for this essay that I'm giving you today, starting Monday. But, for now, I'm just going to keep it quick. So the next thing we're going to be doing, right? And by the way, your first opportunity to raise your grade, right? If you're not happy with your midterm, this is your opportunity to get it up. If you are happy with your midterm, this is your opportunity to keep your midterm. But either way, the next thing you guys are going to be doing in the course is an essay, right? You're going to be creating an essay based on one of the following questions. So I'm just going to go through the questions right now, right? And I'll start talking about structure, thesis, quotes, and citation, everything like that, starting on Monday. So, question number 1. Consider the actions of the mother in Gravel. She leaves her husband in order to pursue her own happiness, but her children end up suffering as a consequence. Were this woman's actions justifiable, and should she have been sent to jail for negligence? So, this question is for all of you who are so interested in talking about the mother in the discussion today, right? Or yesterday for you guys, right? This mother definitely is a very controversial figure. A lot of you seem to really not like her. So if you're interested in that topic, you can definitely write about her here with our topic number 1. Topic number 2. At the end of the story, Neil says, the thing is to be happy no matter what. Just try that. You can. It gets to be easier and easier. It's nothing to do with circumstances. You wouldn't believe how good it is. Accept everything and then tragedy disappears. Or tragedy lightens anyway. And you're just there, going along easy in the world. Discuss whether you agree or disagree with this man's philosophy. So, the first question about the mother is mainly about the story. The second question is, again, more about the philosophy and belief system, right? Is the way Neil looks at the world correct, or is it, just his usual silliness, right? So that is what is going on there. Third, discuss the theme of memory in the story. How does the fact that the narrator cannot remember the events of her childhood very well affect the way we view what happened to Caro? So this one is a little harder than the other two so far, I think. This question is all about whether essentially the unreliable narrator that we have in this story sort of colors things, right? And why Alice Munro has an unreliable narrator in the first place, right? So in this particular question, you're going to be looking more at some of the bigger themes of the story, right? And looking at some of the ideas around, well, what are human memories? And, well, how can it be that one person remembers something one way and another person remembers something somewhere else, right? So that is what's happening in that third question. And it is a bit more of a tricky question, but I hope at least some of you are up for the challenge. Next, for Neil. Neil's one defined acting role is playing the role of Banquo's ghost on stage. Discuss the connections between this story and Shakespeare's Macbeth. How are these two stories related to one another, if at all? So, probably if you're saying it's not related at all, you shouldn't pick this story. Shouldn't pick this question. But, well, the reason I put this one here is I know at least those of you who are in my grade 11 university class last quad, you guys have these at home. So, and I know at least a couple of you like Macbeth. And there is a reason why Alice Munro would connect this guy with Banquo and Macbeth, right? There's a reason for that. It has, I think, in my view, a lot to do with guilt, right? If you'll remember our talk about Macbeth, right? Macbeth was a very afflicted by guilt and everything like that. So guilt is one of the big themes of Macbeth. So what you're going to be doing in that question is connecting guilt and Shakespeare, or guilt in Macbeth and guilt in Gravel. So that could be pretty interesting, right? So if you're a big Shakespeare fan from last quad, or indeed from any class, and you want to talk about Macbeth and Gravel, that's your question. And then last question is really, you guys talked about this for 20 minutes today, or 25 minutes in the discussions. Munro wrote the story with a protagonist that does not have a clear gender. Why do you think this occurred, and what purpose does it serve within the story? So the question is not which gender is the protagonist, right? Because I don't think you can solve that. But what I want you guys to do is try to figure out, okay, why is it like that? Why didn't Alice Munro just say, okay, this is the narrator, her name is Jane, or his name is John, right? Why did the author keep it ambiguous, right? So what's the purpose of that? So this one is getting into the postmodernism part, and I would be interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. So the essay is going to be about 1,000 words, right? Which means about 4 pages, double space times New Roman, 12 font. I'll talk about that more on Monday. But it's going to be using the structure of an essay, which I will talk about next week as well. And if you look up any sources to back yourself up, say you look up something about parental duties, or something about living and let die, like Neil says, then you'll have to cite it, right? But I'll talk about that more next week. Your due date, I have to put that here, is June the 5th, right, at midnight. So it's going to be due next Friday, so there is a bit of time. And again, I will start talking about how this thing is meant to be put together starting next week, right? Because right now it's almost midnight and I'm tired, so I'm going to check out for today. So I will see you guys on Monday, right? The cats are already gone somewhere else, but I think you guys saw Dragos earlier. And yeah, I hope that this essay will be interesting and challenging for you guys to write, and I also hope you guys have a safe weekend and everything like that. So see you guys next time. Cheers.